Hi, it's Rosa. So it's early morning, and I want to get some things off my chest. It's Sunday morning. Last week was ended with a lot of stuff happening. And I gotta be honest with myself and actually admit all those things that happened. Because if I don't, I feel like I'm just not taking advantage of vlogging and stuff and letting go of what happened and stuff. So I don't remember exactly what day. I think it was Wednesday when I was like, okay, I'm going to start just doing Christmas stuff. I think on Tuesday, that was when I did Christmas. I can't remember exactly what days, right? Which is okay. I think it was Wednesday, right? And what happened, I made 2 pieces, right? And I had pieces planned for the next day, and I was super excited, so excited. On the video, I'm saying, oh, I'm trying to start my computer. And once it starts, I'll start making the next 3 pieces. And I was describing them inside the actual video. Well, what happened was my computer broke completely. It completely shut. I think I mentioned it for a few seconds. I think I actually made a video and then I deleted it because I felt like it was too technology dependent. And it didn't sound good. Then I remember I've been working with computers, doing computer stuff for my son's 17. He'll be 18 in a couple months. I've been working on computers since I was pregnant with him, and doing computer stuff, you know. And I feel like, because by computer stuff, I mean coding and writing. I was a ghostwriter for about 10, 12 years. I built websites for people. I did graphic design. I built flyers, and I built food truck designs and everything. And then I built a whole eBay store, Etsy store of digital products. A lot of stuff was based around my computer, okay? And the work I do now isn't as dependent on my computer as my life was before, because when you're a ghostwriter, all you do is you just type, type. That's all you do. And I had computers crash and fall and break, and I was like, oh my God, and I had to start over on a brand new computer and stuff like that. This is way before the cloud was even thought of and stuff. And so I had those big, tall backup things, huge tall ones. I had a gigabyte, terabyte, whatever, of those big things that I used to back up everything when I was writing children's books and novels and all that stuff, right? And then I also had blogs. And I had a lot, affiliate stuff, everything. It was all computer dependent. And now that my career is computer and art material dependent, it's a good flex and stuff like that. But it sucked that my day revolved around using my computer for my reference images and not being able to have it when I was so ready to go back into the swing of doing daily art on eBay. And I hadn't done that in 4 weeks. And it was a sadness. It was so sad. And I tried to fix my computer from recording that video to around 11 o'clock. It's 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours. I go in my room, I go to tell my husband, I'm like, it really won't work. It just won't work. And I'm trying, and I'm like, okay. And he's like, okay, well, it's an emergency. We'll just buy a new one over the weekend and hope the boy can fix it. My son's super, super smart. He built his computer, from scratch. From every piece, he built it. And we're like, okay, we're hopeful that he can fix it. He can figure out what's wrong with it. Yesterday, he got home. Nope. He can get the files off, the data, the files that are on there, which is really important because I have a lot of files for Studio 432 on there. But a lot of them are also backed up, so I should be okay. But it's so saddening, and I was really upset. So after the computer broke, I was like, okay, let me pivot. Let me just use my iPad and focus on just doing a Whatnot show. And I focused on that. Me and my girls picking out things to sell on the show. Me and my girls planning out the setups and stuff like that. Doing the rehearsal mode on my phone. All these things. Planning the show for, I think it was Thursday. I was promoting it. I was telling you guys, like, come to my show, blah, 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 right? And I was practicing a lot. I would use the rehearsal mode on Whatnot to practice and make sure everything looked good. Like, make sure I had everything on point so I could do it without anybody's help. Because that's the most important thing. Independence. And I'm a stay-at-home mom. I don't have people home with me all the time. I need to be able to do things by myself, so that I don't have to rely on anybody. And it, like, completely flopped. It went dark. For some reason, my whole phone and the whole lighting went completely dark. Like, I'm talking like t-shirt dark. You could not see me. You couldn't see the room. You couldn't see everything. I turned on lights. I turned on everything. And I was like, okay, maybe I can still do this. And what sucks is that people were coming in because I had promoted it so well and so hard. Like, I shared it like 3 or 4 times, right? Maybe 6 times total. I tried to do it again. I said, okay, let me just try again. And then because it's on my tablet, I don't have the same features. I didn't know what the features were to start over and go back in, go back out and stuff like that. I didn't know where to find those because it was the app and then there's the website and then it's just like different. The app has different things than the website has, different links, which was really stupid, but it does. And so I didn't know that I could just put start over on there. I'd start a whole new show. And this whole new show, a couple minutes behind, didn't have everything that I had put in the other show. So I'm like rushing, and it wasn't marketed, it wasn't promoted. I was sad. I was really, really sad, okay? That didn't work. And I decided, okay, I'm gonna try again. 6 o'clock, right? Reschedule, do another thing, right? And that time, it still didn't work. I did a rehearsal mode again. My face was fine. Oh, when it didn't work, right? I turned it off and I was so mad because I was planning on being there for an hour. Couldn't do anything. I go in my room, and this is why I love cats. Okay, one of my cats, he just sat there and let me pet him, and he's like usually a runner wear sometimes. And I got on the floor right where my husband was working at my husband's workstation, and I just pet my cat, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm so mad. I have a dog too, but she was like somewhere. I think she was in the front. But I just calmed down, and I was so frustrated, and I was showing my husband, like, look what happened. Like, look, this is rehearsal mode. And he's like, well, it could be this, it could be technology, it could be the Wi-Fi, try this, right? And so we say, all right, I'm gonna reschedule it for that night, 6:30. I rehearse, I do this, everything, the same thing happens, but this time during rehearsal mode. So I'm able to pivot and use my tablet, which is how I record, but I hold this, I don't put it on a holder. With the phone, I had a Pacific stand for it, and I put it in the folder, and I record that way, right? Because of having to use one hand, right, to hold this up and to hold it so you can look at the pieces, right? I had to use my other hand to grab pieces, and this meant having my husband next to me at 6-something after he's worked a long day to give them to me, and that kind of defeated the whole purpose of being independent and being able to host the show. And then because he's helping me, I'm going so fast. I'm just like, blah, 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 blah. That's it. And then going the next way. And then I forgot to pin the buy it now to the actual store because I forgot about that. Totally forgot. And so if people came in, they couldn't really buy it. It was like, I think 2 people that came in. it was frustrating to know that technology had messed up on me 3 times in like a row. And it was just like, are you kidding me? And then, of course, it made me feel guilty because you're an artist that uses AI images and you feel like you can't do anything else. So I didn't feel confident, like, doing art, like physical art. I didn't feel confident, like, grabbing a notebook and just starting to color and to, like, kind of draw something out. I just don't feel confident doing that. Maybe glue booking. I might do that. You know, I'm a good glue booker. I love glue booking and stuff like that and collaging and stuff. But I didn't feel confident enough to just do art in general because my skill for oil pastels is there. My technique, my skill, I know the techniques. But my natural ability to not use a reference image is not there. And at first I felt guilty about that because it's like, is AI controlling my whole life? No, it's not AI. It's my computer, my technology that controls how I work. Just like when it would happen when things would crash before there was the cloud and I'd have to start over from the whole thing. Just like those times. So it's not that I'm like dependent on AI. And I felt guilty about that because there's so many people who are anti-AI. I'm not dependent on that. I'm dependent on the technology that allows me to access my tool. So when I was writing, that would be Microsoft or that would be another software. There was like one software that I used that had like tabs that was just so perfect. I don't remember what it's called, but it was so great at writing like a bunch of things at one time. I love that one. I could hop around and not have to open brand new windows. Perfect, right? And when I was writing at one point, I remember writing like 4 books at one time, 4 novels. Like it was 3 novels and 2 children's books maybe. And the children's books were pretty long. And I remember it crashing on me. And this is when my middle child was still pretty young, and I was so sad. I was so sad. I was like, oh my God. It was really depressing because I had to start over because I didn't have any backups for them. And it was just like, and then I think because of that, I had to push deadlines back and I had to give 2 buyers a refund. So technology is my dependence, not AI art, not AI images, not AI art, not that. Technology is my dependence. I think we all have those problems where that's why we carry our phones with us and everything like that. And I think that it was frustrating because technology decided it's not going to work for me and I have to stop. And so I don't know what's going to happen for this week. It's Sunday. We're going to go to the city. I know that yesterday, because my technology didn't work, I made tamales for my family and for my neighbors and for my husband's coworkers and stuff like that, which is really relaxing. I can listen to music, make tamales, and just like relax and stuff like that. And then I had meat left over. I still have meat left over. And I taught my youngest one how to make chicken nuggets, and my son fried them with her, and they loved how crispy they came out. Like, and she's like, these are so much better than McDonald's. I was like, of course they are. Duh, you made them yourself. But that's the point. And then today, I know I'm going to get another computer. My son will prepare it and fix it up and make sure that it works for all my stuff and everything like that. Being tech dependent, I felt guilty about that because of all the anti-AI in my art life. And I felt guilty, and I should not have felt guilty. And that sucks. I felt guilty when there was nothing to feel guilty about. When we are dependent on our computers, our devices. And I've drifted away from making my whole business revolve around a sole computer. If I really had wanted to and I had the confidence, I didn't feel the imposter syndrome, I could have made art. But I felt imposter syndrome. And so that's a me problem. I have to work on that myself, you know. But that's not an AI problem. It's not like a flaw of AI. That's just me feeling not good enough to just do, but instead of wanting to do. And feeling like, okay, if I don't have my resource big enough to see the details, I can't do it. And I don't feel confident enough making good enough art. And even if I was to do one of my abstract pieces, I would still I would still wonder, is the geometrical sizing correct? Is it the right way? Is it proportionate, proportionate to the paper? And I think I want to end this on encouragement of it's okay to feel like sad on these moments when technology doesn't work for us, because it's going to happen. And it's okay for things to change. But for two things in like a couple hours breaking in like at the same time and like being like, oh my God, you suck. It was frustrating. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to do Whatnot, because I really do think that my art could sell there. I do worry about that. I'm going to get a dedicated phone for that. Anyways, I'm going to end this with encouragement that I think I said before, like, we have to keep moving forward. When I told that I couldn't do it, but I didn't explain this whole full story. I think that we as like people in general, we have to learn that our technology is a tool and it shouldn't be our whole life, and it shouldn't revolve around our whole lives. And we do need to just stop and cook for a bit and listen to music, even not listen to music, just cook for a bit and like just enjoy life in general and enjoy the time we have together as a family without having to feel like technology is the whole life and stuff. And I don't even know what I'm really saying. I am saying that I need to keep moving forward. We need to keep moving forward. And being an artist on a computer, using computer resources is not a bad thing. And using the resources that you have at arm's reach is not a bad thing as well. And I'm never going to let people tell me that it is a bad thing. My careers have been computer dependent. And this is the first career where my computer is used less, but in the sense of activity numbers, activity level, versus any other time. Like, I'm not typing every day. I'm not building websites every day. I'm not graphic designing every day. And that feels really good. And I'm going to acknowledge that I'm not super technology dependent, but I still am. And it really sucked to not have two things of technology not work. But hey, I'm going to keep moving forward just like we do. We as artists do and other people do. Bye. Have a great day.